Hello everybody, welcome back to IELTS Zero to Hero batch, and today once again I am back with IELTS speaking module. अब मुझे पता है आपको IELTS speaking में क्यू कार्ड राउंड कितना दुखी करता है, आपको बहुत परेशानी होती है IELTS part 2 में, IELTS speaking part 2 में. So I decided to come up with this lecture wherein I'll be giving you some sample answers. I will be speaking myself on some cue card topics. आपके सामने ideas generate करूंगी और आपके सामने I will give you some sample answers. ठीक है? Let's quickly get started. And of course, like I said, we are going to dive deep into a few sample questions and I will give you answers straight away right now so that I can help you somewhat. ठीक है? Let's get started. As you know that your IELTS cue card topics look like these. They have a main prompt at the top and then they have got few bullet points over here. And then you are given 1 minute to generate some ideas. ठीक है? अब देखते हैं हम इसमें क्या कर सकते हैं. So the main prompt over here is describe a law that was introduced in your country and that you thought was a very good idea. Then the bullet point says what the law was, who introduced it, when and why it was introduced, and explain why you thought this law was such a good idea. Jaldi se quickly let's generate ideas on it. I mean, I am a Delhiite and I am going to talk about odd even scheme जो मैं लिख नहीं रही हूँ but मुझे पता है मैं इसके बारे में बोलूँगी odd even scheme, and it was introduced by then CM of Delhi Mr. Arvind Kejriwal. When and why it was introduced? For obvious reasons. It was introduced for air pollution. And इसके अलावा और क्या हुआ था? Because of this law, the noise pollution also went down, which we were not expecting. We were only expecting changes in air pollution, but as a result of this law, noise pollution also went down. And इसकी वजह से क्या हुआ? People started feeling safe out on roads. Explain why you thought this law was such a good idea. This was such a good idea because apart from pollution, the traffic congestion also reduced on roads. And because of that, there were fewer traffic collision. There were fewer collision or I should say accidents, cases of road accidents. And that again is something related to safety. So it was sort of like killing two birds with one stone. But अभी answer नहीं देते हैं, अभी जरा सा वो explain कर लेते हैं. अच्छा, now when I will talk about odd even scheme ना, I will define this law also. I will not just name that, okay, I'm going to talk about odd even scheme. I will define that what exactly this odd even scheme is. So उससे भी length आ जाएगी हमारे answer में. ठीक है? So let's now start. Now the question once again, describe. अच्छा, एक चीज और. While you are speaking on the day of exam, मुझे एक बात बताओ. While you are speaking on the day of your speaking exam, can you take a look at your ideas that you have generated in that 1 minute? Then the answer is yes, I did that myself. जब मैंने एग्जाम लिया था IELTS का, मैंने खुद ये किया था. मैंने पार्ट 2 में अपने आइडियाज जो जनरेट करे थे, मैंने बोलते टाइम उनको देखा था, उसमें कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं होती, एंड आई गॉट अ गुड स्कोर. ठीक है? सो यू कैन ऑल्सो टेक अ लुक एट योर आइडियाज दैट यू हैव जनरेटेड, बट हाँ, आपकी फ्लुएंसी हैम्पर नहीं होनी चाहिए. ऐसा नहीं होना चाहिए दैट यू आर टेकिंग पॉजेज व्हाइल लुकिंग एट दोज आइडियाज. No long pauses, please. ठीक है? Now let's get started. So it says a law that was introduced in your country and that you thought was a very good idea. All right, so I am an Indian and every now and then we keep on hearing about new laws coming up. And I believe this is the same case for every other citizen. I mean, every other person of other countries also. From time to time, we keep on hearing about new laws. And that is required also based on the circumstances. We do need new laws. General information done. Next, अब आते हैं यहाँ पे. So today, one such law that I'm going to talk about is the odd even scheme. That's because I am a Delhiite and this law was introduced in Delhi. I mean, this law has been introducing in Delhi for a few years now. Almost every year, this law is implemented for a certain time period. I believe every year around October and November, when the pollution level goes really high, air pollution, this law is implemented. Now, according to this law, if the total number of your vehicle comes down to an even number, that means you can take out your vehicle on an even date, and the same is the case for odd numbers as well. So if the total comes down to odd number, then you can take out your vehicle on only odd number dates. Now, many people were opposing this law because people want comfort, people want convenience in their life, and due to this law, they were not allowed to take out their vehicles every single day. However, I believe that this was the need of the hour because the AQI index, AQI in Delhi has been worsening every single day. I mean, the people here are suffering with diseases like asthma or sinus just because the air quality is pathetic. So that is why I thought this was a great idea, because it straight away reduces the traffic on the road by half. And this was introduced by former Chief Minister of Delhi, Mr. 𝐒𝐿 Kejriwal. And I believe he took the inspiration from other countries wherein they also implemented such odd even schemes because just they wanted to control air pollution. And this is something that we usually observe in metropolitan areas. This law is something that we observe in metropolitan cities, not in small towns, because there they don't have much trouble with pollution. It was introduced a few years back. I don't remember the exact year that it was introduced, probably post-COVID, somewhere around 2022 it was introduced and implemented also. And there was a lot of opposition. And I still remember the very first time it was introduced and implemented, those of us who were following the law, we were given roses by the traffic police. And that was such a beautiful gesture. I mean, they were acknowledging us for supporting the law that they implemented. And I believe these are some gestures that government should show towards citizens. So giving red roses to their citizens is something that is never heard of. So that was another thing that was happening. Now, I believe this was a great law because, as expected, not only the air pollution level went down, the traffic congestion also went down on roads. And because of that, there were less cases, there were fewer cases of road collisions, or I would say traffic accidents. And because of that, I believe because there were fewer vehicles on road, the noise pollution also went down drastically. So it was quite peaceful for us Delhiites. And that is why I believe it was a great law that was introduced. And every year it is implemented also, unfortunately or fortunately. All right, that was my answer on a law that was introduced in your country and that you thought was a very good idea. I hope I was able to help here. So again, if you noticed, I did not jump straight away to first bullet point. I gave some general information. तो general information add करोगे तो length आएगा answer में. आगे बढ़ते हैं, एक और question practice करते हैं. Now this one, describe a website you use that helps you a lot in your work or studies. Okay, so what the website is, I'm going to talk about Cambridge Dictionary over here. आपको भी use करनी चाहिए. It's amazing. How often you use the website? I use it every single day, probably 4 to 5 times a day. And what information the website gives you? It talks about grammar, it talks about pronunciation. Why am I smiling on pronunciation? ये अभी मेरे आंसर में पता चल जाएगा. It talks about synonyms. It gives you so much information on vocabulary. I mean, it's just amazing. And you should explore it sometime. Anyway, explain how your work or studies would change if this website didn't exist. All right, I would take a lot longer in my work if this website didn't exist. अब वो मैं ज़्यादा time क्यों लूँगी मेरे work में? Because I will have to explore other resources, and these other resources are not as trustworthy as Cambridge Dictionary is. चलो start करते हैं, right? So describe a website that you use that helps you a lot in your work or studies. All right. So I am somebody who is an IELTS instructor, and I need to be, this is the requirement of my profession, to be an expert in English language, just so that I can help my students get their required or desired band score. Now, when it comes to English, we trust things like Oxford dictionaries or Cambridge dictionaries. Both are very good resources, but I personally follow this website Cambridge Dictionary a lot because of one simple reason, that the IELTS exam is set by Cambridge Assessment English, and that is why I follow the Cambridge Dictionary. And I believe I encourage my students also to do that because of various reasons. Now, how often? Okay, so I use this website almost every single day. Whenever I get stuck on any word's pronunciation, its spellings, or whether the tone of that word is formal or informal, this is my go-to website. Once you go on this website, you will see a lot of tabs at the top. There you will see the grammar tab, wherein you can study some good grammar topics. They have got a range of grammatical topics over there. And if you are somebody who struggles with grammar, you can explore that grammar tab. Coming to pronunciation, a lot of people have problems in pronunciation. However, a lot of people think that pronunciation is not important, but that's not the case for IELTS aspirants. If IELTS aspirants want to score high in IELTS speaking, their pronunciation needs to be top notch. And for pronunciation also, we have got a beautiful feature here where you can listen to UK pronunciation as well as US pronunciation of one single word, and you will see a loudspeaker kind of icon on this dictionary tab, wherein if you put in any word, the meaning comes, and then that loudspeaker kind of icon comes, which shows that, okay, this is the UK pronunciation and that's the US pronunciation. So I follow this website. If I am doubtful of any word's pronunciation, I go to this website. Why exactly do I do that? Because this is authentic and genuine resource, and I believe that I am able to give good guidance and feedback to my students just because I have access to a resource like this. And I encourage my students also to use it to understand the pronunciation, correct pronunciation, meanings, synonyms, antonyms of different words, and build on their vocabulary. Okay, now explain how your work or studies would change if this website didn't exist. So obviously, I think if this website didn't exist, it would be drastic for me. I mean, that would be a very negative aspect for me, because in that case, I would have to explore other dictionaries. I'm not saying that they are not genuine, but I am a little finicky about accuracy. So if one dictionary is saying one thing, I will have to verify it from other resources. And that is why I will end up spending a lot of time. And when you spend a lot of time on one single task, the productivity goes down. So yes, this website plays a huge role in my productivity. And that was my answer number 2, wherein I talked about which website, कैम्ब्रिज डिक्शनरी. जाके देखना जरा इस वेबसाइट को. तो सारे जो मेरे प्रोनाउंसिएशन के वीडियोस आते हैं ना, जो आप कई बारी पूछ लेते हो कि ये प्रोनाउंसिएशन नहीं होता, ये होता है, वहां पे जाके देखो यूके प्रोनाउंसिएशन और यूएस प्रोनाउंसिएशन क्या होता है. एंड यस, हम अगर आईएलटीएस के एस्पिरेंट्स हैं तो हमें करेक्ट प्रोनाउंसिएशन तो लेके आना ही पड़ेगा. अगर आईएलटीएस के एस्पिरेंट्स नहीं है, देन इट्स अ डिफरेंट स्टोरी. मूविंग ऑन, describe a car journey. The third topic, describe a car journey that took longer than expected. All right, where were you going? Who you were with? How you felt during the journey? And explain why this car journey took longer than expected. Okay, so we were going from North Goa to South Goa. And who you were with? I was with my friends. And how you felt during the journey? I tried to keep my spirits up. I tried to keep myself happy, but I was actually stonkered. I was exhausted. ठीक है, स्टोंकर्ड इज अ सिनोनिम ऑफ एग्जॉस्टेड. अब यहाँ पे वोकैबुलरी पे फोकस नहीं करना है, पर मेरे मुंह से निकल गया तो आई एम राइटिंग इट फॉर यू गाइज. आपको ये मिल जाएगी पीपीटी. नाउ एक्सप्लेन व्हाई दिस कार जर्नी टुक लॉन्गर देन एक्सपेक्टेड. ये हमारा मेन बुलेट पॉइंट है. व्हाई लॉन्गर? रीजन नंबर 1, वी हैड अ फ्लैट टायर दैट डे. Flat tire means tire puncture ho jana. Number 2, once we sorted out that problem, the second problem came up wherein we saw a road accident due to which there was a lot of traffic congestion. So 2 reasons, इनको explain कर देंगे, काफी है. Describe a car journey that took longer than expected. As usual, I will not jump to my first bullet point. I will start with some general information. All right, so I'm somebody who loves traveling, be it air travel or road trips. any kind of travel, I am always up for it. And speaking of this particular prompt, we were actually going on a road trip that day. I was with my friends, so we were 4 people together. And I am a Delhiite. We had gone to Goa to just have some chill and fun over there, and just to have a little bit of break from our daily strict regimen. All of us are working. I mean, my friends and I, all of us are working professionals. So we know the importance of taking breaks every now and then. But yeah, so we were staying in North Goa, and somebody told us that we should also explore South Goa. Now, North Goa is for those people who want happening kind of lifestyle, who are party animals, whereas South Goa is for those who want to explore secluded, isolated, calm, and composed kind of beaches, peaceful, less crowd, that kind of stuff you see in South Goa. So somebody suggested that we should explore South Goa. However, it was about 1 hour drive, 1 hour or 1.5 hour drive from North Goa to South Goa. So we rented a car because all of us wanted to explore those secluded beaches. So we rented a car and we decided that the next day we would go and explore South Goa. And we started our journey next day, and we were totally excited. We had some loud music on in our car, and the spirits were really high. We were having a blast when suddenly we got a flat tire. Now, I don't know anything about a flat tire. I just am an absolute waste when it comes to such technical stuff related to a car. But thankfully, my friends knew the stuff that they were going to do. And fortunately, we had the required equipment. Maybe we need jack to change the flat tire. And we had that kind of equipment in the boot of the car. So they did the required thing. They changed the flat tire and we started our journey once again. However, now my friends were exhausted, not me, because I was just chilling. I didn't do a thing. Anyway, so my friends were exhausted because they had to change the flat tire. So we started our journey and we tried to keep our spirits up. We replayed the music. We were humming along that music, and suddenly 15 minutes into the drive, unfortunately, what happens? We see a huge traffic accident. I mean, not traffic, a road collision wherein a truck had entered into a divider, and because of that, unfortunately, there was a long traffic jam and we just got stuck over there. Now, it took that traffic jam to clear. It took about 1 hour for that traffic jam to clear. Now, by the time we reached South Goa, we had to reach by around 2 p.m. in the afternoon, but by the time we reached there, it was somewhere around 5 p.m. We still tried to keep our spirits up, but we were absolutely stonkered that day. And we were totally famished and thirsty. So instead of hitting the beaches, we got to go to a cafe and quenched our thirst and just ate some food. But yes, it happened that day that the 1 hour journey took us 3 hours to cover. So that was the entire answer. If you see in this one also, I started with general information. I tried to paint a picture when I said that the road, the truck entered into the divider, when I said the jack, boot of the car, and we were keeping our spirits high, we were having a blast, the music was on. All this is what I'm painting a picture. I'm telling you the entire background. I still could have talked about the weather on that day. Abhi main wo bhi add kar sakti thi, but I thought it's getting lengthy, so I cut it short. Right? So the 3 techniques that I told you in the previous video that you can use to expand your answers in this part Q card, I was using those techniques only in today's sample answers. And if you don't know of those techniques, go back and watch that previous lecture wherein I'm telling you 3 techniques using which you can expand your answers in the speaking part 2. अगर आपको कोई भी वोकैबलरी आज जो मैंने अपने आंसर्स में यूज करी है समझ नहीं आई है तो प्लीज पोस्ट इन द कमेंट्स. वी विल बी मोर देन हैप्पी टू हेल्प यू with their meanings and example sentences. And as usual, if you want these PPTs that we are creating for you along with these annotated notes that we have got, please enroll in free IELTS 0 to Hero batch using PW app, and you'll be able to get these PPTs along with the daily practice paper PDFs that we are creating for your practice just so that you can get your required band score. I hope I was able to help you guys somewhat today. I'll see you in the next lecture. Bye bye, everybody. Take care.